All right, we are starting our unit called Systems of Equations, and we're starting with solving two variables by substitution. Okay, it says here in your notes, systems of equations are two or more linear equations. So if you were to graph it, it would look like that, or this, or that. Okay, but we're not going to graph them just yet. We need to learn how to solve them. So we follow the steps. We see there's 4 steps. We scroll down. Step 1 is solve one equation for x or y. Isolate a variable, which means get it by itself. Same thing we've been doing whenever we solve anything. The way you solve for it is to get it by itself. Then you substitute the resulting equation from step 1 into the other equation for that variable. That'll make sense in a second. Then we solve for the remaining variable, the one that we haven't solved yet. So if we solve for x up here, then we need to solve for y. Okay? Then number 4, we substitute our answer from step 3 into either original equation to find the other variable. Okay? So we'll look at number 1. Okay, number 1 is pretty easy. They both say y equals, all right? Y equals -4 and y equals 8x plus 20. So we need to set them equal to each other because they're both y. They both equal the same thing. -4 equals 8x plus 20. Okay? So we have solved for y. We know y equals -4. All right? That's just how this first one is. So we need to solve for x. So what do? We have to isolate it. We have to get it by itself. -20 minus 20, -24 equals 8x. Okay? Divide by 8, divide by 8. X equals -3. Okay? So we know y equals -4 and x equals -3. This one was really easy. All right, and you write your final answer in coordinates. We know x goes first, -3, -4. That is your final answer. Okay? Write this smaller. X equals -3. All right. Move on to number 2. Once again, it's easy because we already know what y is. Okay, 2. So our final answer will be, 2. Okay. -2 equals 3x plus 14. Oops, 14. Again, we need to solve for x. -14 minus 14, -12. Remember, +2 minus 14 is -12. Equals 3x. All right. Divide by 3, divide by 3. X equals -4. So we put it in there. -4, 2. All right. Those are easy when you already have something, y equals 2. So you know y equals 2. But we look at number 3. We have 2 equations. But all we do is the same thing. We are going to set them equal to each other because they're both y, so they both equal the same thing. -3x minus 4 equals -4x minus 7. All right? And here all we need to do is solve for x again. So we move one side over and then we move the other. What I mean by this is we need to get both x's, this and this, on the same side, and then both numbers, this and this, on the same side. Okay? And the way I want to do that is I'm going to add 4x here, add 4x here, because then I get a positive x, so I don't have to divide again. I already have one positive x equals +4 plus 4, -3. So x equals -3. Okay? So I found what x is, but now I need to plug it back into my equation to find y. Because both of the y's here and here were equations, but we need a number so we can write our coordinate. So we plug -3 into either of the 2 equations. Okay, I'm going to pick the first one. So -3 times -3, because that's what x was. See? -4. Well, -3 times -3 is a +9. 9 minus 4 equals 5. Okay? And the way you check to make sure that answer is correct is you can just take -3 and plug it back into the second equation, just to make sure you did it right. -4 times -3 is a positive 12. Positive 12 minus 7 is also 5. So we know that is correct. So our final coordinate is -3, comma, 5. And we are done. All right, try to do number 4 on your own. Complete the worksheet. And then if you have any questions, just let me know.